Shame is not a feeling. It is an attack. When someone shames you publicly, they are not giving feedback. They are attempting to remove your identity in front of witnesses. Your body knows it instantly. The heat crawls up your neck. The room shrinks. Every instinct fires. Defend, explain, fight, shut down, apologize. But here is the truth that changes everything. The moment you react, you lose. The moment you try to prove you are not what they say, you step into their frame. You start dancing to their music without even realizing the song had started. What if instead you had a method, a precise, cold psychological reversal that shifts the entire room against them without a single raised voice? That method exists. Once you understand it, public shame stops being something that happens to you. It becomes something you watch happen to them. Most people think the opposite of shame is pride. Wrong, the opposite of shame is indifference. The kind that makes the attacker suddenly wonder if they just made a terrible mistake. We are covering the core phases today: the void, frame inversion, winning the crowd, the nuclear option, the internal fortress, surgical strikes, and more. By the end, you will not just survive public disrespect. You will understand why part of you should want it, handled correctly. It is the fastest way to establish dominance in a room. Phase 1. The biology of the ambush, the moment someone shames you. Did you really just say that? Everyone here knows you failed. Your amygdala fires. Your brain registers a survival threat. In tribal history, public shame meant exile. Exile meant death. So your body prepares for war or escape. Here is the problem. In modern social settings, reaction equals defeat. The shamer knows this. They are counting on your biology. They want the stutter, the red face, the floor staring. They wrote the play. They cast you as the fool. And if you follow your instincts, you perform the role perfectly. The strategic mind overrides instinct. Understand this. Their attack has nothing to do with you. Shame is a projection. Only a threatened person does. When they attack you publicly, they are broadcasting to the entire room. This person makes me feel small, and I need to fix that. They are confessing their fear of you. Once you see it that way, the heat disappears. You stop being the target. You become the observer, and the observer is always the most dangerous person in the room. Phase 2, the void, the most powerful move available to you, and almost no one uses it. Do nothing. Not the nothing of someone too afraid to respond. The nothing of someone deciding whether the situation deserves their energy. When the insult lands, go completely still. No smile, no frown, no nervous laugh. Hold eye contact. Not aggressive, not wide, just flat, clinical, bored, as if you are watching something mildly interesting happen to someone else. Count 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. In those 3 seconds, the entire social architecture of the room shifts. The audience was watching for your reaction. When it does not come, they turn back to the attacker. The attacker expected resistance. They hit air. Suddenly, they are the one off balance. Did he hear me? Does he not care? Did I just make a mistake? The silence grows heavy, uncomfortable. But it is their discomfort, not yours. You did not pick up the burden they threw. It landed at their feet. Everyone is staring at it. They will try to escape it. I am just joking. Can't you take a hit? That is panic. That is the sound of someone trying to rebuild a frame you just shattered by doing absolutely nothing. Do not help them rebuild it. Phase 3. Psychological judo. When you finally speak, do not defend. Defense signals guilt. If someone calls you a liar and you shout, "I am not a liar," you just put yourself on trial. Powerful people do not argue their innocence with people who have no authority to judge them. Instead, flip the microscope. Treat their outburst as a behavioral symptom you find mildly interesting. Respond the way a calm doctor would respond to a patient who just had an episode. They say, you completely embarrassed yourself. You pause, tilt your head, look at them with quiet, detached curiosity, and you say, are you okay? Or, you seem really worked up about this. Or colder. That was a strange thing to say out loud. The topic is no longer your supposed mistake. The topic is now their emotional state. You are calm. They are reactive. You framed yourself as the adult, and them as the unstable variable. Without a single insult, they now have to defend themselves. And whoever is defending is losing. There is a variation called agree and amplify. Sometimes, the insult is partially true. The shamer expects you to be crushed, so you steal their satisfaction by owning it completely. But with indifference, they say, you have no idea what you are doing. You laugh softly. I never do. But it always works out. They say, you are so arrogant. You smile. Thank you. It is my best quality. When you are not ashamed of yourself, no one can shame you. The mud slides right off, and the person throwing it ends up with dirty hands. Phase 4. When the crowd shame is a performance. The attacker does not care about you. They care about the audience. Most people make the mistake of trying to win over the attacker. Waste of time. The crowd is the target. You do not win the crowd by pleading for sympathy. That triggers an ancient social reflex. Distance from weakness. You win by being the calmest person in the room while someone tries to tear you apart. When one person is unraveling and one person is composed, the audience aligns with the composed one. Not out of fairness. Out of instinct. Stability signals leadership. Use the triangulation technique. After the attack, briefly make eye contact with someone else nearby. A small, calm look that says it all. In one glance, you have bonded with the audience and made the attacker the outsider in their own performance. Keep movement slow, voice low, posture relaxed. You are the stillness at the center of their storm. The wind always tires before the rock does. Phase 5. The nuclear option. Some people enjoy the game regardless. Silence, judo, composure. They feed on any reaction. For them, you use the final weapon. You erase them, not dramatically. You simply continue whatever you were doing as if they produced no more sound than a passing car. You look through them. You turn to someone else mid-sentence. No pause. No flinch. The difference is crucial. Non-existence says, my brain does not register you as significant. This triggers something primal. Being attacked at least confirms you exist. Being ignored erases you. They will escalate. Get louder. Push harder. Let them. The louder they get while you remain completely unbothered, the more unstable they look to everyone watching. They burn themselves down, trying to generate a reaction from someone who has already moved on. Phase 6. The internal fortress. All of these techniques collapse if you are hollow inside. You can learn every move, and they will still smell the trembling underneath. True immunity to shame requires you to stop handing the keys to your self-worth to strangers. Think about what shame actually means. It means you have decided that someone who does not know your history, your failures, your potential, is qualified to measure your value. Why does their assessment outweigh your own? Face what you are ashamed of. Your failures, your gaps, the things you are afraid someone will notice. Bring them into the light. Look at them without flinching. Yes, I failed at that. Yes, that is a real flaw. Yes, that period of my life was a mess. The moment you stop hiding something, it stops being ammunition. They can only wound you with what you are still afraid to face. Own it completely, and they hold nothing. This is the paradox of real power. The most vulnerable person is the one wrapped in the most armor. Terrified of a gap showing, the most powerful person stands fully visible and says, there is nothing here to find. When you reach that state, you stop walking into rooms hoping people accept you. You walk in wondering if they are worth your time. The entire dynamic flips. You are no longer seeking approval. You are the one granting it. Phase 7. The surgical strike. Sometimes one precise line is required. When that moment comes, follow one rule: brevity. One sentence. A long defense makes you look rattled. One calm sentence makes you look lethal. 3 options to keep ready. The who frame. Look at them and ask calmly, who are you trying to impress right now? It exposes the performance to the entire room instantly. The repeat command. Say that again. I didn't quite catch it. Force them to repeat the insult. Insults lose everything on the second delivery. The timing breaks. It sounds petty, and most people fold rather than repeat it. The validation trap. Smile calmly. I can see things are hard for you right now. You don't have to take it out on me. You become the therapist. You reframe their attack as a cry for help. A narcissist would rather be hated than pitied. If they get angry, they prove your point. If they stay quiet, you win. Either way, it is a double bind with no exit. Phase 8. The exit how you leave matters as much as what you said. On say, you have deployed silence, reversal, or the surgical strike. Withdraw. Turn your attention fully elsewhere. Do not scan the room for approval. Do not check their expression. Move on, as if the interaction was already forgotten, because for you, it is. Access is power. When you withdraw your attention, you remove the most valuable thing in the room. They are left with the wreckage of their own move, while you are already present in a different conversation entirely. That is the final insult. Not anger, not a clever last word. Forgetting them. Phase 9. The philosophy: this is not about becoming ruthless. It is about becoming unbreakable. We live in a world that weaponizes judgment daily. If you do not build these defenses, you will shrink. You will self-censor. You will start asking permission before speaking your truth. These tools exist so that never happens to you. But with that comes responsibility. Do not become the shamer. Use these to neutralize destroyers, not to dominate people who are already small. Use them to hold your ground. Be the presence that keeps dangerous people careful. The next time you feel that heat rising, breathe, because you have been waiting for this. You are not the prey anymore. You are the trap. Let them step in. The defense is just the beginning. The deeper art influence, presence, making people want to follow you without a word spoken. That comes next.